Hi everyone, I'm Victoria and welcome back to Black Cat Crimes. Thank you for joining me here for a missing persons profile update on Bryce Borca. If you haven't seen my first video on Bryce Borca and his disappearance, I do have it linked right above me right now, but just to catch you up and to give a refresher for anyone else who saw the first video and may not remember what's going on, I'm going to give you a quick recap of who Bryce is and where we are at. Bryce Borca is a 23-year-old man who went missing in the very early morning of October 30th around 2 a.m. in Eagan, Minnesota. Now, I have a very important note to get out of the way right now before I continue in the video so that there's no confusion as you're watching this. On the night of October 30th, 2022, in another part of Minnesota, Crow Wing County to be specific, another 23-year-old young man was found dead. And I totally understand where the confusion comes, not only from the state and the age of this man, but his name is Bryce Borca. Obviously, with all of these details that are so similar between these two young men, there has been some confusion, and people on several different parts of the internet have mentioned on articles about Bryce Borca that he was found dead. On the one hand, this is good to say that Bryce Borca has not been found dead. Tragically, though, this does mean that a different young man, Bryce Borca, has lost his life. There has been an arrest made in his case already. They had a suspect, and he is in custody at this point in time. But I just wanted to get that out there, clear up any confusion that Bryce Borca, who this video is about, is still currently missing. And now at this point, we have learned new details about Bryce and what led up to his disappearance in the very early morning hours of October 30th. So Bryce had been on a party bus drinking with his friends into the early hours of Sunday, October 30th. Somewhere before around 2 a.m., Bryce and a few of his friends took a rideshare back to Eagan, Minnesota. Bryce was dropped off in the 3200 block of Hill Ridge Drive around 2:08 a.m. The driver of the rideshare had said that Bryce was extremely drunk. And when Bryce and his friends were dropped off, Bryce left to go walk back to his apartment, which was about 2 miles away from this drop-off point. Around 2:34 a.m., Bryce would be on a FaceTime call with a few of his friends, telling them that he didn't know where he was and that his phone was about to die. The battery was only on 2%. His friends say that during this call, it looked like he was in a wooded area. He would share his location with them, and what it showed was that he was in a wooded area. This wooded area was off of Minnesota Highway 13, which is unfortunately in the opposite direction of Bryce's apartment. After 12 minutes, the FaceTime call would abruptly cut off, and every call after that was made to his phone went straight to voicemail, which is probably because his phone was on 2% during this call, so it probably died, and then the phone would just go straight to voicemail after that. Given his phone cutting out and his location, his friends drove out and tried to look for him along this stretch of highway, but they weren't able to find him. Later that morning, around 10:50 a.m., when none of them had seen or heard from Bryce, they then called police and reported him missing. From here, we know that police began a ground search on Sunday and Monday, looking for Bryce in this area. On Tuesday, though, police would call off the ground search. During these searches, one of the searchers found the tie that Bryce was believed to be wearing. And another searcher found a single Nike shoe. Now, this shoe wasn't the exact description of what he had been wearing that night, but investigators haven't totally ruled it out of whether or not it's Bryce's. Bryce was also seen on a business's surveillance footage walking along the route that investigators believed he would have taken. This was the same route that his tie was found on. We know these new details now from a search warrant police obtained to check Bryce's apartment and collect his electronic devices. They collected them so they could be checked for any possible information regarding his disappearance. The area Bryce walked off from is Latondra Street between Minnesota 13 and Coachman Road. Bryce's apartment is off Yankee Doodle Road and east from Minnesota 13, and the Minnesota River is west of Minnesota 13 and Yankee Doodle Road. Bryce was last seen wearing a white button-down shirt and possibly a patterned cardigan. He was also seen wearing a black tie and white shoes. He also had on black pants. Investigators have asked that if you live in the area of South Lone Oak Road west of Pilot Knob Road and north of Silver Bell Road, that you please check your outdoor surveillance footage if you have it. See if you possibly see Bryce on the footage from between 2 and 4 a.m. on Sunday, October 30th. If you have any information about Bryce's whereabouts or disappearance, please call Eagan Police at 651-675-5827. Bryce's family also released a statement on Tuesday of this week, explained that this has been extremely difficult for them, which, of course, that is completely understandable. But they greatly appreciate all the support from their community and all of the people who've come out to volunteer for searches for Bryce. Right now, they're trying to just stay focused on finding their son. But hopefully, I'll be able to come back to my channel soon with a good update about Bryce and what is going on. And for now, that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for watching this update on Bryce's case, and I'll be back soon. Bye.